First off, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to those elders and apostles out there from Great Millstone who teach and rule well. A lot of respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth. And salutations to the hopeful that you guys may be sealed soon. And with that, this is your brother Dawaba from the branch of GMS here in Chicago. Coming right back at you with a little lesson. And as you see on my phone screen here, I got a Elder Apostle Tahar's page. It's called What is the 666 Mark 2 GMS Truth? And it says we are going to be here for another 30 plus years. Now, this video is Bishop Nathaniel was talking about, a guy asked him questions. He said, how long do you think we're going to be here? And he said somewhere between another 20 and 30 years. And the beloved Apostle Tahar sit up here and gave his input on this. But at the end of the video, he sit up here and asked a question, and that's what I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to do a quick response to this. So here, I'm going to let this play. I'm going to let this, the last few 20 seconds play, and then I'm going to go in from there.
Anyway, that's it. So my question, I'm going to throw this out at y'all. How long do you think we got before we get out of here? So you got to respond to it. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next. Just something to think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
So there you go. He sit up here and asked the question as to how long do you think we have before we out of here, and it's just a hypothetical question, No one truly knows, only Yahweh knows, not even Yahweh Shai knows when he's going to return, But when you look at it from the standpoint of all the things that are happening, you got to understand we ain't got too much time. So with that, I pulled up a few articles. I'm not going to read them. I'm just going to read the headlines. But this just sit up here and shows you that the plagues, it just sit up here and shows you the things that's going on that's leading to us getting up out of here. But before I do that, let me grab a scripture real quick. I end up pulling up 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and I'm going to read 1 through 4. The 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse 1 through 4. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And these are the things we're seeing. You're not just seeing just earthquakes and uproars of the people. You're seeing many things, the economy crashing. You're seeing all sorts of climate and natural disasters, whether it be earthquakes, whether it be tsunamis, whether it be tornadoes, whether it be hurricanes. You're seeing all these things happening at once. And when have you seen this on a large scale? You haven't. Then you're talking about the pestilence. You're talking about famines. You're talking about all sorts of things. You're talking about creatures that you're talking about animals that are sitting up and doing attacking people at a high rate. So all these things are happening. And these are signs. And these signs sit up here and let us know how close we are. So with that being said, I'm going to just grab a couple of articles. I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm just going to read the headlines. But so you'll know. So it says the Trump administration live updates. President Trump suggests 80% China tariffs. So when you look at that, and I'm just going to go down. President Trump said this morning that decreasing tariffs on China from 145% to 80% seems right, adding that any reduction would be up to the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer and Bessent are holding trade talks with Chinese official tomorrow in Switzerland. So that's just one of the things right now that's sitting up here that's causing somewhat of a rift. Because if these trade tariffs keep going on, guess what? It's going to affect the stores. It's going to affect the products, the supply chain. It's going to affect everything. And not only with that, it's going to affect jobs. And those jobs are going to have a domino effect. Then here's the point I was getting to. It says in 2025, mass layoffs have been a significant issue impacting various sectors like tech, finance, and retail. And then here's the point. It says tech Vertex layoffs, Beyond Tech federal layoffs. And when you look at the federal layoffs, look what it said. Federal agencies have been in a significant drivers of layoffs, with over 150,000 job cuts reported in February and March. It says the economic factor, the impact of AI, and specific companies. And when you look at specific companies, what it says, like UPS, Meta, Microsoft, BlackRock, Block, Starbucks, Blue Origin, Chevron, Estee Lauder have all announced layoffs in 2025. So this right here is going to be another big thing that's going to cause a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And when people ain't got nothing, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go get it, you know? And they're going to go get it in many ways. And a lot of ways ain't going to be good. So here's the other thing. It says, and then this leads to this too. Reports warns of steep food price hikes as essential crops yield plummets. Here's what's at risk. And as you see, the article is by Zachary Ehrman. It was Thursday, May 8th, 2025, which was yesterday at 6:30 a.m. So my whole point is this: look at this. Look at the food. You know, price hikes are coming due to the drop in food production. So how long do you think, when you ain't got food in the markets, how long do you think it's going to be before these people start losing their goddamn mind? Here's another one. It says how Americans see the state of race relations. And this is April 2019. But I had another one. But you know what? I had another one, Salaki. I did have another one. Man, I had another one. Oh boy. You know what? Man, because this one is a little pretty much outdated. I had another one. But you know what? Well, you seen here, it says April 9, 2019, about 6 in 10 Americans, 58% say race relations in the U.S. are generally bad. A view that is held by, and what it says. I'm just going to read hold on, where is that? You know, believe it or not, you know what? I'm not going to sit up here and go with this one. I actually thought I had another one pulled up, and this one kind of messed me up. But as we all sit up here and see, race relations, race tensions, you know, nation tensions in this country is pretty bad. You know, Judah, you know, so-called blacks ain't taking shit no more. You having these white motherfuckers, so-called white people sitting up here going off. You had that so-called white woman sitting up here talking shit, and then they raise money for it. So you can see automatically that race relations in this country is just horrible. So you don't, in the statistics, you don't even need statistics. You can see that for yourself when you step out the goddamn house. But here, there's the other thing. It says 5 international conflicts happening around the world right now: the Ukraine and Russian war, the Palestine-Israel conflict, the Sudanese civil, the Myanmar civil war, and Haitian gang violence. You know, and then you sit up here and see that, if I'm not mistaken, that Pakistan launched them missiles the other day. So here it is. Now you sit up here looking at all of this tension. All these right now are geared up for nothing but conflict and chaos ensuing that's going to affect the whole world. So when you put all these things together, time is short. You ain't got too much time, you know. And then not only that, President Trump has the worst ratings of any president, even Joe Biden. They said he's 55%. 55% is against this fool. 55%. That is the highest that it's ever been. He has a 55% disapproval rating, you know, and that's the highest it's ever been. I personally think it's more than that, but hey, it is what it is. These motherfuckers love to play with the numbers. But that just sit up here and let you know the state of everything that's going on. And a lot of these people are losing their mind. And even with these MAGA motherfuckers, they sit up here, and that just lets you know the mind frame of people. Here it is, your country is fucking you over, but you still too blind to see it. Just dumb. No accountability for your own. You know, I'm just going to read this there. This says, 2 Esdras 9:1. He said, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in thyself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And you're seeing the signs all over. All over. So with that, let me sit up here and go to, I want to go to 2 Esdras, I want to say 16. This is second Ezra 16. I want to drop down to, here it is. This is second Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth. Great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And this is what you're seeing right now. So it's comparing these plagues to birth pains. You know, as the woman get closer to her birth, and the pains get a lot more sharper, and a lot more painful. And then when the baby is born, boom, all that stuff is forgot about. And here's the thing: them birth pains are getting real close, and guess what? That's going to be that nuclear destruction. You seeing all this stuff, and that goes into the tariffs, that goes into the supply chain, that goes into the mass layoffs of the food, the mass layoffs, of jobs. Then that goes into the food supply, whether it be out of stock or whether the prices are high. All these things are a big part of what's of you seeing of this place crumbling. So with that being said, the elder apostle Tahar asked the question: when do you believe that we're going to be up out of here? And personally, my own thoughts as a man, I sit up here and think that Jacob's trouble is going to start sometime this year. I believe that also, not only with the Jacob's trouble starting, you're going to have, you're going to have the nation upon nation. You're going to have all those things. You're going to have all your chaos, I believe, start this year. I believe sometime by the end of this year, maybe December, January, that's when you're going to probably get your martial law. That's when somewhere along the line, the martial law is going to come in. So I'm thinking somewhere between November, December, or January of the following year, 2026. I believe that's when the martial law and stuff is going to kick in. The order out of chaos, and that's when they're going to probably end up introducing the MTO to the T to be that digital currency. So I believe that's probably going to be introduced sometime, maybe February. Well, maybe February, March, February, March, April. I think it's going to be introduced, and after that, and then once it gets introduced, and I think it's going to be introduced, and I think a lot of people are going to take it anyway. As soon as it's out there, I think people are just going to line up and take it anyway. You're going to have a lot of people that are not. But I believe that it's going to be, once it gets introduced, I believe a lot of people are going to take it, because once the chaos ensues, people are going to do anything in the world just to get it to be over with. So that's the whole point. People are going to do anything and everything in the world to get it over with. As a matter of fact, you know what? While I'm thinking about that, let me go here. Where is that? That's Second Thessalonians. Um, this is Second Thessalonians. You know what? I'm just going to start at 7. It says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who will now let it will let until he be taken out of the way." And that's going to be this devil. The Lord letting him do his thing right now until his ass get wiped out. "And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." And how's the wicked being revealed? It's through the prophets out there on the highways and byways. "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan." And the brightness destroyed the brightness of his coming is going to be those nuclear missiles, in the chariot fire. It says, "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all powers and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved." And that really goes into the Israelites not sitting up here want to listen to this truth. But what it says is going to be a lot of people is going to be deceived, because once he introduces, which also, actually, therein lies the other thing I want to say. That's the other thing I want to sit up here and grab. Well, getting back to the point with Second Thessalonians is that, a lot of people are going to be deceived, because once they bring that order out of chaos, A lot of people going to be deceived. A lot of people is going to take that. Take that take that M to the O to the T to the B, that C help. You know, this devil is going to come with all signs, lying wonders. He's going to come with, hey, order out of chaos. He's going to come with the solution, and people are going to sit up here thinking, all of a sudden be amazed, and all that stuff is being shown at this moment. You got to understand, all these things are being shown right now, so people are going to look at them. People are seeing things right now, in time, right now. The C-hip is already here, and people are looking at it in amazement. So all it takes is just a little gentle push somewhere here or there, and people are going to take it. Now, that's not going to go for your Bible Belt people, and it definitely ain't going to go for the elect. We ain't going to take that bullshit. We're going to tell you, fuck you, you know? But it's going to be a lot of people that's going to accept it and take it, and they're going to be destroyed. Point blank, period. You know, actually, you know, since I'm talking about it, might as well just go ahead and grab it. But a lot of people going to be deceived by this damn devil, man. Through his lying signs, lying wonders, and through the order out of chaos, man. Plain and simple. Hold on. Let me go to Revelations 13. Because that order out of chaos. You know, I'm going to start this Revelations 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's going to be a lot of people. A lot of people are not going to take. Some people are not. A lot of people are not going to take that C-hip. And what's worshiping the image of this beast? His system. Point blank, period. The system. You know, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to sit up here and go for the system because they're going to want that brief moment of luxury, or what they call luxury, which is nothing going to be to your destruction. But then it says he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the stamp in their right hand or in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the stamp, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You know, and that goes into that barcode, man. So here it is. You're about to sit up here and be tagged like a piece of cattle, you know, and a lot of people are going to take it, you know. And I know I've been sitting up and rambling, but the whole point of the matter is I believe that Jacob's trouble is going to start sometime this year. I sit up here and believe that they're going to probably impose that martial law sometime, maybe about November, December, maybe in January, you know, where all hell, once they start coming with that order out of chaos, I believe somewhere along the line, you know, February, April, March, April, they're probably going to sit up here and really push that C-hip hard, which is going to, you know, a lot of people going to take. And I believe also during that time, a lot of people not going to take it. And I think sometime maybe around May, June, you know, you're going to have a lot of infighting because a lot of people ain't going to take it. A lot of people ain't going to fall for the government. And then they really going to push it hard during that time. I believe sometime maybe somewhere in August, September. I believe that's when, you know, not only that, they're going to come at us. And I believe somewhere in that along that line, I believe Yahweh Shai is going to come with those chariots. I believe sometime next year. I believe personally somewhere in the mix of September, October, November. And that's just my own thoughts about it. You know, at least that's just my own thoughts about it, speaking as a man. So, you know, with that, hey, I hope this was edifying. I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to those elders and apostles out there from Great Millstone who teach and rule well. A lot of respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that you guys may be sealed soon. And with that, I always say stay prayed up, brothers. Pray for each other because we're almost up out of here. So with that, I like to say Kwam Yasharella and a Baba Ball and Anya Habatham Malakiam. Shalom.